Hi, good morning. Welcome to another ramble this morning. Thursday 27th of January. I'm going to do a 13-14 mile hike today. As the title says, trip round the Vale Villages. I'm going to go follow the River Isbourne for a while, taking Hampton Mill, Hinton on the Green, out to Sedgeborough, out towards Aston Somerville, where I'll pick up the Wychavon Way, out towards Charles Wickham, across to Murcott, Wickhamford, Badsey, back along Monk's Walk and back into Evesham. That's the point here where the River Isbourne meets the River Avon. So I'm now at the end of the route of the Isbourne Trail, so I'm now going to walk it in reverse for about 3 or 4 miles. Now heading out to Hinton on the Green. Just coming up to Hampton Mill now. It's brought a lot of attention in recent times on national press. Some sort of confrontation between the landowner and rights of way, etc. I'm sure if you googled it you'd find all about it. It all seems to be fenced off and quiet again now, so let's see how we get on. A little bit about the Isbourne Trail now. It's a 14 mile trail. It classes long distance trail. It starts at the Wash Pool upon Cleve Hill near Cheltenham and runs for 14 miles to the River Avon at Hampton, passing through Winchcombe, Greet, Toddington, Dumbleton Mill, Wormington, Aston Somerville, Sedgeborough, Hinton on the Green, Hampton Mill and across to Evesham. It's reportedly the only river in England that runs from south to north. How true that is I'm not sure, but that's what the reports say. Okay, just crossing over the River Avon here, near the football ground in Evesham. Okay, we just left the river for a while now, heading up into the village of Hinton on the Green. A little bit about it, there's a church here, St Peter's. The river actually divides the village into east and west. And as of last year, it had 254 residents. And we're now heading down towards Hinton Mill. You can see the church of St Peter's there in the foreground. It's coming through Hinton Mill now. I presume it used to mill corn because the bank I've just come off is Corn Mill Bank. So there's a clue there, I think. This is where I think the river diverts into the mill. Crossing over it now, heading right towards Sedgeborough under the A46. Breeden Hill in the distance, you can see it just over here. I'm heading towards these woods now, back following the river again. Go through the woods and out the other side and into Sedgeborough. Okay, here we are going underneath the A46, still following the River Isbourne, and shouldn't be long now before we're up into Sedgeborough. Okay, a bit about Sedgeborough now, just entering the village. It's been going since about AD 777, I believe. It started off as a manor. It's obviously grown out from there. Got the church here of St Mary's, Church of England First School, the Queen's Head pub. So I think it's just mostly Indian food now. And this is, they've got the mill here as well, sorry, the mill in Sedgeborough. And that's where we'll pick up the Wychavon Way, which I said in the previous video I will do that later on this year. And as for the Isbourne Way, I will do that one as well. That'll be another one-day hike, and we'll start at the wash pool in up on Cleve Hill and walk back to Evesham. There you go, Shetland pony here having his breakfast. Seems happy enough, doesn't he? Got his coat on. There's Queen's Head pub here, and St Mary's Church just behind. We're on the Winchcombe Road here and it's about to turn off by the mill, and this is where the Wychavon Way joins up with the Isbourne Way. If I just go by the sign here, I can... There's the signs up on there, the Isbourne Way and the Wychavon Way. In the mill is just up here. I'm about to turn off then a small path and cross over the Isbourne again, then cross fields heading for Aston Somerville. And here's the old mill, just here. Right, let's carry on. Okay, back again, about halfway between Sedgeborough and Aston Somerville now. And this is a point where we leave the Isbourne Trail, or Isbourne Way, sorry. And that goes off in this direction over here, following the river, out towards Wormington, Dumbleton Mill, Toddington. And we're off now this direction, following the Wychavon Way still, until just before we get to Charles Wickham. Okay, just arrived in Aston Somerville now. It's a very small village. There's a 13th century church just along there, Grade 2 listed. And basically the village is made up of 3 farms, lower, middle and upper. That's about all I can say about it. There's not that many houses here. Further on along the Broadway Road there, a memorial to an American RAF pilot in the early 90s, I think around about 93, 94, crashed into the side of the bungalow, a low flying over here. There's not much else I can say about this. I'm just going to go up to the bend here, turn right and head out towards Charles Wickham. I've just come past the local library. Seems to be a lot of old phone boxes getting used as this sort of thing now, or somewhere to store defibrillators. Saves taking them down and making some use of them. Okay, just stopped for a cup of coffee and banana. About just over halfway now actually. The weather's held up. It was forecast a little bit of rain. It's a bit dark, but so far so good. A little bit about what I'm trying to do at the moment. This is only my 3rd video, so it's all new to me. What I'm trying to do is do as many walks around the Vale of Evesham as I can. There's simply so many footpaths, ones I never even knew existed, hundreds in fact. And trying to build up a portfolio of walks, to show interest to people. People are interested in doing them. They could click onto my Komoot channel, which is where I do plan my routes, and the completed routes are on there as well, so they could follow any of those. The whole thing is new to me, the walking part. I mean, traditionally I was a cyclist for many years. But I found over the past few years there's so much tribalism out on the roads now, with cars, cyclists. It's got quite scary at times. You get a lot of abuse. I used to do a lot of long distance cycling, Audax riding, which was very long distance cycling. And I thought I just retired. I thought I'll try this. And it's really good. I really enjoying it. It's so peaceful as well. You're out in the middle of nowhere, there's no cars to bother you. You might see the odd person if you're lucky. Tons of wildlife. It's just absolutely beautiful what we've got here. So I mean, if you like what I'm doing, just click like on each of the videos, and if you subscribe to the channel, it'll help it grow. And if you want to leave any comments below as well, sort of walks you'd like to see, different areas you'd like to see, and I'll bring you along with me. Okay, thank you. Right, okay, we're just up the track now towards Childs Wycombe. Just over there you can see the spire of the church. That's St Mary the Virgin. It's a Norman church. It's got a 15th century spire to it. A bit more about the village. There's not a lot. It's got a pub there, the Childs Wycombe Inn. And the only other thing I found was the Roman road from London to Worcester went actually through the village, and they've found several Roman artifacts there. One of my next walks I'll go right through the village anyway, and I'll do a bit more about it that time. I'm going to turn off left just up here, and we're heading across towards Murcott and Wickham. Yeah, if you look over there, those are the Cotswold Hills there, and up on the very top, I don't know if you can see it on this camera, it's not brilliant, that's Broadway Tower, and they go all the way along, right along the horizon. That's where your Cotswold Way walk goes from Chipping Camden down to Bath. And that's another one I'd love to do, which you'll probably find on this channel as well in the future. I'll do some more of the national long distance ones as well as local ones as well. Might drum up a bit more interest as well. And one of the next ones I do as well, I'll do one from home, and I'll just do a kit list of stuff I take with me, stuff I've bought, etc. Nothing flash, I don't believe in that. And I'll just go through what I take on each walk. And I was turning off the track now, through the gate here, go across to the Childs Wycombe to Hinton Road, then across to Murcott and Wickhamford, and that's where we leave the Wychavon Way. Okay, just coming to follow that footpath on the Childs Wycombe track over to the main road now. I'm going to cross over here and follow this field across now to Murcott. Quite a long field, but it doesn't look as muddy as where I've been this morning so far, so give it a go. Right, I'll follow this for about a mile and I'll come back to you. Yeah, still walking across the field towards Murcott. Not much I can tell you about Murcott actually. I've had a look up, and basically all it is a hamlet, a few houses and a farm, and that's basically about it. Not much going on there at all. Anyway, we get to the end of here, follow the track, the field, two fields sorry, across to Wickhamford, across the A44. I'll come back to you then and I'll tell you a bit more about Wickhamford. Just down there is the Sandy's Arms. Used to be a pub, shut a good few years ago now I think, and was a shop. I think it used to be owned by the local manor. I'll come back to you on that one shortly. In front of me here is the Wickhamford Manor. It was built on the church grounds, 16th century. After the dissolution, it was owned by the Crown. It was subsequently sold by Elizabeth I to the Throckmorton family, which I believe now own Coton Court by Ulster. They sold it on to the Sandys family. That's I suppose the name, the pub here, the Sandys Arms, so that they were the local landowners here. I'm just coming up in a minute as well. St John the Baptist Church, which is a 13th century church. So we'll have that there, and then obviously the manor, which was built on the grounds. Here we are, coming up to the manor now. I can't film too near the church, there's a lot of noise going on at the moment, diggers going. That's the church just in front of me there, but there's a digger right by you, you're not going to hear a thing I'm saying anyway. So there you go, there's a view of the church here, quite old, well 13th century, so. Just crossing the River Isbourne yet again, just God knows how much time this morning. And we're just heading across now to Badsey, I'll come back to you shortly. On the edge of Badsey now, mill cottages, I think those are there. The mill was down there. A bit about the village. The main landowner here again was the Abbey. I think that seemed to own a lot of land around the Evesham area. There's a 16th century black and white manor house, grade 2 listed in the village. They have a shop, 2 pubs still doing very well actually. First school again. A decent sized village, sports grounds, etc. There's a lot of market gardening here, as there is over in Offanem as well. And in the war, refugees from Birmingham were sent here. I imagine a lot of those settled down this area. I'm just heading across the Badsey Lane in a minute before we turn left along Monk's Walk, which I presume that was named. I don't actually know about that one. I can imagine it's named after the Abbey yet again. The monks used to maybe walk from the Abbey across to Badsey. Makes a lot of sense, I think. I'll try and find out about that one. I'll come back to you shortly. Running parallel with the houses in Badsey now. Don't actually go through the village on this route. There are others which I'll do in the future, which I will be going through the village itself. Okay, so we're going to turn left here to go up Monk's Walk, back towards Evesham. If I go right here over the bridge, it takes me up into Badsey. We'll carry on straight along here. That goes through Aldington, out towards Offanem. I'm turning up here now, and this is Monk's Walk. It runs parallel with Badsey Lane, and it'll come out where Badsey Lane meets the A46. And let's come up to the top of Knoll Hill now. We're dropping down in a minute, down the side of Ashdown Farm. Yeah, over there, Ashdown Army Camp. But it's a reenactment camp they use. I think it's in June. And they have a weekend of it. Quite a big show actually. People seem to come from all over, doing all the reenacting, and plenty of stalls. If you're interested in the military, it's well worth coming to. Right, we're heading down towards the end of Monk's Walk soon, and soon be back in Evesham.